Donald Trump's FBI finally goes after the worst of the worst, Texas Democratic lawmakers. This is just another day. The FBI has long been a fixture of Hollywood movies. Federal agents featured as courageous heroes, rooting out some of the worst criminals known to man. Kidnappers, murderers, mob bosses, evil drug lords. And I, for one, can't wait to see the movie based on this new manhunt.
Now, this comes from Senator Cornyn here in Texas. He says that the FBI is now going to get involved with the search for those Texas House Democrats that left the state house earlier this week and are now holed up in places like Illinois, New York, Massachusetts. We're still not sure exactly what level of involvement the FBI is going to be in this case. Are they going to be going across state lines? Are they going to physically arrest these lawmakers and bring them back into Texas?
Or are they going to do absolutely nothing but put on a piece of political theater because the FBI isn't legally allowed to do anything? This is truly absurd. The FBI is maybe helping Texas Republicans, but we're not sure how. The only thing that remains absolutely certain is that John Cornyn appreciates something.
Texas Senator John Cornyn thanked FBI Director Kash Patel and the president for his assistance, but we don't know what that means.
Wow, how do you shop for that card? I'm not sure Hallmark has a section for not sure what you did, but thanks occasions. But let's not forget why we're here. The entire reason Texas Democrats broke quorum and left the state is because Donald Trump directed Governor Greg Abbott to redraw district maps so they would lean favorably for Republicans. And knowing that makes it a lot less surprising that the president would be totally fine with federal agents going after state lawmakers.
Do you want the federal government and the FBI to help locate and arrest these Texas Democrats who have left the state?
Well, I think they've abandoned the state. Nobody's seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before.
I know that we've all become numb to the moronic statements handed down by this president, but on occasion, it's worth pausing to really bask in their beauty. Nobody has seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before. That should be hanging in the Smithsonian, preserved for future generations to admire. My God, if someone read that quote to you and had you guess who said it, the President of the United States or Zoolander, which do you think you'd pick? But my apologies, I cut off our commander of words.
Should the FBI get involved?
Well, they may have to. They may have to. No, I know they want him back. Not only the Attorney General, the governor wants him back. If you look, I mean, the governor of Texas is demanding they come back. So a lot of people are demanding they come back. You can't just sit it out. You have to go back. You have to fight it out. That's what elections are all about.
That's what elections are all about, says the guy demanding governors redraw their maps so he can win. Thank God we've got Donald J. Trump here to lecture us about the sanctity of free and fair elections as he seeks to engineer new maps that make it statistically impossible for Republicans to lose. And while the FBI may or may not be on a totally reasonable manhunt for Democrats, there are other actions taking place inside the agency that are actually happening.
CBS News has learned the FBI has fired several senior officials at the Bureau, including the former acting director, Brian Driscoll, who served ahead of Director Patel's appointment.
He was the person who slowed down the Trump administration and White House's push in which they demanded names of FBI agents who had worked on the January 6th Capitol riot investigation. That list was eventually accomplished after Driscoll was eventually forced out, and they kind of circumvented his slowdown. But he was the one who stood up and said, these men were doing what they were told to do.
So the FBI is firing this agent, Brian Driscoll, because of his involvement in the January 6th investigations? Which means if he had stormed the Capitol with batons instead of facts, he'd still have his job. By the way, Driscoll wasn't some nameless, pencil-pushing agent. Before Kash Patel was confirmed, Driscoll was tapped as acting director, which makes his firing a little at odds with Patel's whole restoring trust creed.
The public trust can only be restored if there is full transparency, and I am committed to that full transparency.
Well, if that full transparency is true, I guess we can all look forward to Kash Patel's upcoming publicity tour, I fire rule-following agents, but I protect the friends of pedophiles. This is just another example of government overreach being done by one of Trump's sycophantic minions who swore he would uphold and defend the Constitution. Honestly, I can't see how this gets any worse.
CBS News has learned the Justice Department has hired a man as a senior advisor who was charged with participating in the January 6th insurrection.
I guess that'll do.
A Justice Department official confirmed to CBS News today that a man who was former FBI agent, actually, Jared Weiss, who was charged for trespassing and blocking official proceedings on January 6th, he is a senior advisor to the Department of Justice, and that they called him a valued member of the team. He was, according to charging documents and body cam footage of which you can see some screenshots here, yelling at police in that moment in which he called them Nazis and Gestapo.
Wow. Look, I hate to say it, but I think these Texas Democrats have been playing it all wrong. If they want to get on the president's good side, they shouldn't be running away from the Capitol. They should be storming it and calling Greg Abbott a Nazi. Then they too would be called valued members of the team. It is depressing, but not surprising, that this is where the administration wants to focus their efforts. But just a reminder, it is not illegal to break quorum. It's a tool. A political tool. A political tactic. This is not a crime, but a move by Texas Democrats to elicit a certain political outcome, and they are by far not the first to use it. In fact, even Abraham Lincoln of the Republican Party broke quorum all the way back in 1840 in an effort to stop a vote when he was a state legislator in Illinois. And he did it in style. Mr. Lincoln came under great excitement, and having attempted and failed to get out the door, very unceremoniously raised the window and jumped out. Unreal. The guy makes a hasty exit for a vote, but refuses to leave the theater early. Guess everybody has their priorities. So enough with treating these Texas Democrats like they're some hardened criminal masterminds, because the real ones are the actual people the FBI should be pursuing. And by the way, the agency does not have unlimited resources. Unlike some other people, they can't exploit their office to make extra cash through a private luxury golf club membership or get a bunch of billionaires to cut checks at a private crypto dinner, which means while the FBI is using their resources to track down politicians, they're not tracking down other people. You know, people who are slightly more threatening, like drug traffickers, murderers, terrorists, and pedophiles. I know this might sound crazy, but maybe instead of using authoritarian tactics to maintain a grip on power, this president can try, making his case to the American people. Donald Trump has spent his entire life selling terrible shit to people and has somehow been successful at it. An overpriced college where you don't learn anything, a bottle of mediocre liquor you'd have to be drunk to purchase, a pair of uncomfortable sneakers that's seen as surface-level patriotism. Donald Trump has never shied away from a sale, so it should speak volumes that this guy's policies are so bad he's not even trying to sell them to voters. I mean, I don't know what it is about cutting Medicaid from 17 million Americans and cutting SNAP benefits from our nation's most vulnerable and bending over backwards to protect the organizers of a sex trafficking ring that's such a hard sell, but apparently this president thinks so. For a man who's supposedly bursting with confidence that we'll get tired of winning, he sure as hell is acting like a guy who's scared of losing. Every American witnessing this shredding of the Constitution and sprint toward authoritarianism should be alarmed because
nobody's seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before.
Exactly. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.